Do clerics still have a divine gift, the ability to draw power from the gods and create miracles?
Find out if the cleric holds up in the D&D 2024 Player's Handbook. What's going on, YouTube? I'm the Mind Flayer Slayer.
And I'm Dr. DM, and today we are the Amen.
Amen.
And of course, we're bringing you the 2024 Player's Handbook review. Today we're on to Cleric. We are in our best Cleric Garb.
This is what we got, folks.
As you can see, and we're going to bring you the differences between the 2014 to 2024 Cleric, talk about everything to do with all its abilities at level 1 to level 20, and then if you stick around till the end, we're going to tier rank the Cleric. Now, before we begin, we do have a challenge for you. Which of us do you think is obviously going to play Cleric using the new 2024 Player's Handbook rules? Leave a comment below, and we'll heart that comment in a few weeks if you're right. So let's get started.
At level 1, Divine Order, you are going to be choosing one of two sacred roles, either the Protector, which grants proficiency in martial weapons and heavy armor, or the Thaumaturge, which gains an extra cantrip, and you add your Wisdom modifier to your Intelligence Arcana checks.
This is interesting because before, the Protector usually was baked into some of the subclasses, right?
Correct.
Which you would get at level 1. So like Cleric, for example, would get heavy armor and martial weapons. So now you can choose this straight out the gate as your Cleric.
And I like that it's not tied to a subclass, actually, because it allows you to have your feature. If you want to play a specific subclass of Cleric, you're not tied into inherently being martial weapon efficient or not.
Yeah, because sometimes you really wanted to dip into Cleric just for level 1 to get the heavy armor proficiency.
Exactly.
To make sure you are tanking the front lines. That's kind of like you're going in with your Hammer of Thor. And then you have the option now of being more of a spellcasting based Cleric, like Sacred Flame. You can add your Wisdom mod to it now. Makes it sort of strong. It's still probably not the best option between the two. I mean, heavy armor.
Well, I'm always going with Protector personally,
right.
But you know.
But it's there, and
it's there.
Since we lose the level 1 dip, this is a way to make up for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, at level 2, you get your Channel Divinity once again. So this adds now Divine Spark, which is another way for clerics to use Channel Divinity when not fighting the undead.
You start with two effects, Divine Spark and Turn Undead. So with Divine Spark, as a magic action, you can point your holy symbol at another creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself and focus divine energy at them. You roll a d8 and add your Wisdom modifier. You either restore hit points to the creature equal to the total or force the creature to make a Constitution save. On a failed save, the creature takes necrotic or radiant damage, your choice, and that damage is equal to the total. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage, rounded down.
So I do like this. It's not very strong. It does scale, as we alluded to, but it's a good way in a pinch when you're out of spell slots and out of magic, out of healing. You can bust this out to throw on a heal if you need it, or an extra damage as well if you need that. So going on now, the other option is Turn Undead. As a magic action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censuring undead creatures. Each undead within 30 feet of you must make a Wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it has then the frightened condition and incapacitated for 1 minute, and or if it take damage or the condition goes away.
Classic Turn Undead.
Yeah, it is Turn Undead.
Yep.
But now it's kind of doubled into even more crowd control because now you have incapacitated as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
which is a big difference. At level 3, you're getting your subclass, as with all classes in the 2024 D&D Player's Handbook. You have the Life Domain, which adds aid to your domain spells. The Light Domain, which gives you See Invisibility as one of the domain spells. The Trickery Domain, which has new abilities that allows you to invoke Duplicity double the amount of times. And then with the War Domain, your Channel Divinity can also be used to cast Shield of Faith or Spiritual Weapon without using a spell slot or requiring concentration, which is fantastic.
that was just a brief overview.
Yes.
Just so you know what we're going to see coming up soon on the channel. Okay, at level 5, you get Seer Undead. So this now replaces the old Destroy Undead. Instead, deals radiant damage to every undead, regardless of their challenge rating, and even if they fail their saving throw against your Turn Undead feature.
Yeah, I think that this is really quite a big boost. Not being restricted by CR is great. I also know that different DMs use challenge rating in different ways. It's very hard to track for some people if you're not playing specifically Adventure League, for example. I know that a lot of DMs are not very focused on challenge rating, while another part of the community they are. So I think that this is really great.
Yeah, I think this is a big buff, certainly. And the fact that now you can deal damage instead of just turning undead. Before you had to say, okay, well, what level is a zombie or what's the challenge rating?
Yeah, flipping through the book, what is this? Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Everyone wants to roll their damage math rock, so this is a great way to do that as well.
At level 7, you have Blessed Strikes. You can select one option, which would be a Divine Strike, which allows you to deal an additional 1d8 radiant or necrotic damage when you hit a creature with an attack roll. And then you also have Potent Spellcasting, which allows you to add your Wisdom modifier to damage dealt with a Cleric cantrip. So being allowed to add that extra damage for cantrips, love that. Kind of like that Warlock dip, right?
You're definitely doubling down on what kind of cleric you want to be at this level.
100%.
Do you want to be a melee-focused cleric who gets up in there and brings down the hammer of justice from your god? Or you go the spellcasting route where you stay a little further back, right, and use your cantrips and healing to really support your group. So I like that they've kind of made a couple of choices for you to go through down this cleric skill tree that really help you define who you are, what kind of cleric you want to be.
Well, and I really like that it can be radiant or necrotic with a lot of these choices.
Oh, interesting. So you can be kind of like the bad boy cleric.
Exactly. You can flavor it how you want. I think that adds a lot of versatility to the class overall.
Awesome.
At 10th level, you get Divine Intervention.
Okay. As a magic action, choose any cleric spell, 5th level or lower, that doesn't require a reaction. You can cast it without spending components or a spell slot. This is once every long rest. So this replaces the old, you have to roll a percentile dice to get your god to do something for you. Now it automatically works, right? And you can choose a spell to cast.
God, I have summoned you.
Please help me. You must help me. Level 14, now you have improved Blessed Strikes. Of course, it's a 2-tiered version. The first is Divine Strikes. Now the damage increases to 2d8.
Let's go.
So really making every hammer hit count. And Potent Spellcasting. When you deal damage with a cleric cantrip, you grant yourself or another temporary hit points. This is all right. The damage...
14th level ability, it's a little...
Yeah, every time you hit, you're kind of doing like a basic Divine Smite. That's okay. You still only have 1 attack per turn unless you're a War Cleric, but even then. And the cantrips, I don't know, cantrips never scale stupendously, especially once you get higher level Cleric spells. You want to be casting with your magic action versus this, but being able to dole out a few temporary hit points, it's okay.
Yeah, again, the Cleric is not known for being a cantrip caster the way like sorcerers and warlocks are. You're going to be wanting to cast your higher level spells in most cases.
Sure. So this has more of a niche appeal, but it's there if you want to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to level 19.
You get your Epic Boon. This is with all classes. You're going to get the Epic Boon feat or another qualifying feat of your choice at 19th level. Okay. Again, if you make it that far in your campaign, by all means, grab another feat.
Okay, and finally, level 20. It's your capstone of Greater Divine Interventions. You can cast Wish when selecting a spell for Divine Intervention. After it's used this way, you can't use Divine Intervention again for another 2d4 days. So this is like an improved Wish without kind of any downsides.
I love this.
Yeah, this is really cool. You can actually commune with your god or whoever's channeling your powers and cast Wish a lot. And Wish is really potent.
It's the best. I got to cast it one time. It's the best.
Against Tiamat, kind of saved the day. So don't sleep on Wish, and this is a way to do it. Again, no downsides and repeatable a lot. This is fantastic. This is a really good capstone. Again, level 20, but it should be pretty strong for level 20.
Oh yeah, and honestly, of all of the other classes that we've looked at, I think that this one is probably the best capstone ability at level 20 that I've seen.
I mean, Wish, auto Wish.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
That's pretty good. So on top of course, we didn't talk about all the spell casting. Maybe we can cover that in a different video if you're interested in us going through the Cleric or any of the caster spell lists. We can do that. Of course, they get spell casting level 1 to level 20. There's some good stuff there. So Cleric has a pretty well-rounded kit. So let's give it our tier rating. What do you think?
Oh, this one's tough for me. I feel like it's a B+ or an A. I mean, it seems really solid to me. I don't think that there are a lot of huge negatives like that we've seen with some of the other classes. It doesn't do anything particularly that's like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this class right now.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
But it just is the solid Cleric that we know and love.
Yeah,
I think.
It's a solid, tough Cleric that has a couple different choices. Some, the spellcasting side with the cantrips, maybe not so great, but the heavy armor side, I think, can really go the distance.
Yeah.
A lot of cool abilities up through level 20, including level 20. So if you're going to go full Cleric, this is a way to do it. I think 2024
Absolutely.
has an edge over 2014, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely go with B, plus or minus, depending on how much you really love the Cleric fantasy. Could it go A, I think, at higher levels if you're just abusing Wish? I mean, yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. That could go great.
Yes,
yeah.
I think the A is the caveat of really if you're going to higher
Yeah,
level.
sure. So no like insane buffs like we saw, for example, for Warlock, but this is a super awesome, solid class.
Absolutely.
Cleric, if you want to do it, if you want to go hard and do a lot of damage, turn undead, you have a campaign that's specifically against undead, for example, and yeah, you got an awesome class here.
Every party needs a healer, so let's be honest.
If your DM smiles, you want the healer to be there to smile back.
100%.
And cast Wish. So
Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy all of the content that we've been bringing you for the D&D 2024 Player's Handbook. We're bringing you that Monday through Saturday, and then our regularly scheduled full cosplay campaigns are coming out on Sundays, so stay tuned for those. Remember to Divine Strike that like button. Leave a comment down below. We've loved engaging with all of you. Please subscribe so we can continue bringing you this content. Ring that notification bell, and also banrolldice.com. We are proud members of their affiliate program. Pick out all of those math rocks that you could possibly ever want and type in code GG10 for 10% off your order and a kickback for us so that we can continue supporting the channel and upgrading everything that we bring to you guys.
let's go. The odd men have to go to the Church of Barovia, so see you later.